Be patient and ask questions. As a student service, the Media Center's primary goal is to facilitate our patrons' needs. Our patrons may not always know exactly what they need, and the checkout process can often be similar to an interview. You'll need to ask them questions in order to discover what resources they need. Be patient with our patrons, and they will usually be patient with you. The Media Center managers are here to support you. Do not be afraid to ask them for assistance.
Always greet users who enter the Media Center or approach the counter. Patrons should not need to get your attention. If you are sitting at the checkout counter, be aware of patrons approaching the desk or entering the room. Do not attempt to help more than one patron at a time. Distractions lead to mistakes.
Every Media Center user must have a valid ArtaCard ID to prove that they are allowed to access Media Center resources. They will also need their ID to exit the building with the resources. Any patron without a valid ID will not be allowed to use the Media Center. A patron is not allowed to use a temporary sticker ID from security. Only their SAIC ID card is considered a valid form of ID for Media Center checkouts and reservations.
5 helpful questions.
Have you used the Media Center before?
What resources can I get for you?
Are you in a department or class that grants you access to resources?
Do you need any accessories to use with your checkout?
Anything else?
I do want a microphone too.
Okay, do you need an XLR cable with those?
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
5. Do you know how to renew your resources?
Complete every checkout in the checkout system before retrieving the resources on the shelf. When completing the checkout, verbally repeat the resources in the checkout and the checkout times to the patron to verify that you have entered all resources and times correctly.
Never start pulling resources from the shelf before completing the checkout in web checkout. Other checkouts or reservations could interfere with the checkout you're currently working on. Incomplete checkouts lead to mistakes which will require a manager to fix. You have not secured checkout times until the Confirm Checkout button is clicked and you've entered your PIN.
Every bag of resources has a Contents of Kit or COK tag that tells you and the patron what accessories and resources are supposed to be in each bag. During every checkout and return, the Contents of Kit should be thoroughly checked to make sure that every item on the Contents of Kit tag are there. If everything is there, it should be noted on the Activity tab in Web Checkout as a full kit. All batteries should also be accounted for. If you give 2 batteries in the checkout, it should also be noted in the Activity tab.
If something is missing, it should be noted on the Activity tab. In the case that something is missing during a return and there are no notes acknowledging it on the Activity tab, inform your supervising manager or shift lead.
Once the checkout is complete, inform the patron that they have received an email detailing the resources and due times for their checkout. Be sure to remind the patron of their due time by telling them the day of the week their resources are due and the time. Remind patrons that they are allowed 1 renewal to extend their resource checkout. They can extend their checkout for up to 3 days by calling or coming into the Media Center.
All right, here you go. It's due back Tuesday by 2 p.m. and you should be getting an email reminder about that. And in that email is also the Media Center's phone number. And so if you want, you can call in and renew this one time for an additional 3 days from the time you call. But keep in mind that there may be a reservation on this. And so be prepared to bring it in anyway, just in case.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Remind patrons to check their resources with security as they exit any SAIC building. Each SAIC building has a security desk. Security will check their ID number and verify that the resources are checked out to the patron.
Answering patron questions. Patrons often expect our student workers to know very specific information about our resources. If you are asked difficult questions, we can find the answers together. Refer to your supervising manager or shift lead, and most answers can be discovered if they are not already known.
Hi.
Hi.
I was having some trouble with this camera. I was shooting on manual mode, but the autofocus doesn't seem to be working.
I personally do not know how to fix that, but let me get my manager.
Okay, thanks.
Please do not make up answers to expedite a checkout. With patience and the help of your colleagues, we can get our patrons to the correct information so they do not make costly mistakes.
Media Center checkout information is private and confidential between the Media Center and our patrons. We should never share any patron's activity or personal information with another patron.
Our student workers' schedules and personal information is also confidential. We should never share information about our colleagues with our patrons.
We are here to help. Treating our patrons with patience and respect is the best way to serve their needs. Do not hesitate to ask for assistance from your colleagues and the management team. Together, we can provide excellent service and learn valuable skills that will enrich all of our future endeavors.